Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fire Team Base. This is Reaper. I'm here with Bees, and we're talking Week 12 NFL preview and Pick-Ums. Bees, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, brother. Good job taking the win last week. It was close up and down the board. Tough matchups, definitely, and I can't wait to see what we're gonna. I think we're all tied up, if I'm not mistaken, too. So why don't you give us a quick rundown?
Last week we had something pretty special happen. We had Bees finish the record of 9-5, Reap with a record of 10-4, and our guest, About 56 Ninjas, finishing 8-6 to bring everybody's season total to even at 46-23. Bees, through 5 weeks and 5 different guests, we all came out even with the same score. What do you think the odds of that are, man?
That's pretty tough, but let me just say, experts who, man? I mean, this is insane. So we're saying here for every 3 games, we get 2 of them right. And yeah, it is pretty special, man. And talking about special, our tonight's special guest is Mr. Ben Frank Money. What's up, kid?
Hey, team, what's going on? And I guess in honor of Thanksgiving, I guess I'd like to say I'm thankful for being here. But first, I'm about to, break that tie amongst everybody.
Woo! We appreciate you giving us the lead back. That'd be great. All right, guys. With that, we're going to move into our Thanksgiving Day games. Our first game of the day, we have Vikings at Lions. Bees, take us away.
Already, great game off the bat. Both teams are coming off the week. I'm going to end up taking the Lions here at home against the Vikings. They got to lose sometime, you'd figure. I'll take the Lions here 24-17.
I'm going to go the opposite direction. I think Vikings are going to win this one on the road. I think the Vikings are the better team and the more complete team. Detroit struggles against the run on defense, and I think that's one thing the Vikings do very well. I think the Vikings win this one pretty easily, 28-17.
Yeah, and for myself, Ben Frank Money, despite the Vikings record, I still don't trust either team, but I got to pick one, so I'm going to take the Lions over the Vikings at home on Thanksgiving. Just a tradition, 27-24.
All right, moving on to our afternoon Thanksgiving game, we have Chargers at Cowboys.
And Chargers came up with a big win last week, and the Cowboys failed miserably against a tough test in the Eagles. But I'm going to take the Cowboys at home this game, making up for lost ground. Dak and Des Bryant will have some good connections, so watch out for that in fantasy. And I got them winning 31-21.
This is a great matchup of two thirsty teams trying to make it back into the conversation for the playoffs. I think the Chargers walk away with the win on this one. I think they've got all the momentum, and I think they're going to carry that through. They're a team that's lost a lot of close games this year. I think this time they get it done. Chargers 31, Cowboys 28.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Wow, I agree with Reaper. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, I got the Chargers over Dallas. I think no Ezekiel Elliott is a big factor. I'm gonna go Chargers over Dallas, 35-14.
Making our way back to the Thursday night game, we have Giants at Redskins.
Oh, man. Kirk Cousins coming off that, failure of a game, I'll call it, against the Saints. They had that one in the bag, but I'll take them at home. Not really a game I want to see on Thanksgiving night. I feel like they could have done better, but I'll take the Redskins here 34-20.
I think this was a better matchup on paper before the season started. I think the Redskins are going to blow out the Giants in this one, and I think they're going to do it 27-10.
You know what? Giants off a big victory against the number one team with the Chiefs. I'm gonna have to go ahead and say they're keeping their momentum because the Redskins, they had a huge loss in New Orleans. I'm gonna take the Giants over Redskins 13-7.
Rolling with the momentum. All right. That brings us to Sunday's 1 o'clock games. Bucs at Falcons.
I called it. They took that game in Seattle, and they're going to take this game at home against the Buccaneers. I'm going Falcons. Steve Sarkisian looks like he might have found a little groove there last week in utilizing his backs in the passing game. and Matty Ice didn't choke for once. So I will take the Falcons here, 27-14.
Matt Ryan's been decent here. He has been throwing for a ton of yards, but he's been consistently throwing 2 touchdowns over a 4-game span here. I'm going to take the Falcons to get it done at home against the Buccaneers in a divisional matchup, and I think they win this one 26-20.
Can't spell dysfunctional without the Bucks, so I'm going to go ahead and say Falcons over Buccaneers 27-10.
All right, moving on to a terrible game from the AFC North. We have Browns at Bengals.
I don't think the Browns are going to be getting their first win here. The Bengals had a nice win last week. Look for that trend to continue. I'll take the Bengals at home, 29-16.
This game may come down to whose defense can score more points. I think the Bengals are going to win ugly. I don't think either offenses are going to be doing anything, and it's just going to be a hard game to watch. I think the Bengals get this done, albeit in a close one, 14-13.
You can't trust the Cleveland Browns. Hey, Browns fans, let's take out the brown paper bags. Bengals over the Cleveland Browns. They're going to go 0-11. I got 24-20 Bengals.
But I did almost call it last week. I told you they'd give the Jags trouble, and until they got that pick at the end or the fumble recovery, I forget what it was close all the way through. Moving on, we've got Titans at Colts.
Titans got blown out last week in a game that I thought they were going to win, but there's no way they lose this game. They need this game bad. I got them beating the Colts here, 24-12.
This game starts a 4-game span that the Titans basically need to win all the way through. I believe that they played pretty close with Pittsburgh until the end. They let the score get away from them. And I think they're going to get this done on the road. I think this will be the first time they sweep the Colts in a long time. I'm going to take Titans 28 to the Colts 26 because the Titans never are able to win comfortably.
I think Mariota finally takes care of the ball. He doesn't turn the ball over. I think Titans pull out 23-10 against Colts team that is kind of rocky.
Moving on to a matchup of teams that are struggling right now, we have Bills at Chiefs.
Look for Kareem Hunt to get back on track for all you fantasy owners out there. He's had a rough going as of late, but the Bills and their newfound glory quarterback will make too many mistakes, leaving the Chiefs with multiple red zone trips and drives. I'm going to take the Chiefs here, 34-17.
Despite the Chiefs' floundering offense, I think the Bills have a decent chance of winning this game. However, the Bills' defense has allowed 100 points in the past 2 weeks. So I think the Chiefs are going to refine a little bit of offensive momentum in this one and win it 42-22.
Man, I'm still trying to figure out who's starting over in Buffalo. With that being said, I know Tyrod's got the nod this week. I think an inspired Tyrod Taylor's gonna pick the Bills up and prove to Buffalo's coaching staff that he is the guy. Buffalo pulls out 28-17.
Oh, okay.
Next, we have a divisional matchup: Dolphins at Pats. Patriots, that is.
Well, they always say any given Sunday. And I thought any given Sunday meant that the Chiefs were going to beat the Giants last week, but that obviously didn't happen. But there's no way the Patriots let this game get out of hand. I got them winning this one big, 38-14.
Pats at home against a Dolphins team that seems to be pretty dysfunctional at this point. I don't see how you take anyone but them. I'm going to say Pats 38-10.
Okay. I'm over here just thinking I can't even go against Brady and Belichick, no matter who the opponent is. I'm gonna go ahead and say Patriots big over Miami, 47-28.
Our next game, we have Panthers at Jets.
Don't really have too much to say about this game. Cam's looking like he's getting it together, even without Kelvin Benjamin. There's a slight chance we may see Greg Olsen. If that's the case, they should win this pretty handily, but It's in New York. I'll take the Panthers here 19-10.
This to me smells like a trip-up game for the Panthers. However, I do think their defense is good enough to get them through. I think the Panthers win this one close in scary fashion, 17-16.
Well, the only weapon you need is Cam Newton. Superman going to take it for the Panthers, 21-17.
All right, moving on to our last 1 o'clock game. We have Bears at Eagles.
Bees' blowout of the week, but this time I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. The Bears have been having some injuries on defense. The offense is stagnant when it gets into the red zone. Unfortunately, Trubisky doesn't have the weapons to get the job done against an Eagles team who is flying high. Look for this one to get out of hand early. I'll take the Eagles here, 34 to my beloved Bears, 14.
I think this is a team that's the class of the NFL right now versus a team that's about a year away from being good. I think the Eagles are going to win this one comfortably, like you said. Chicago's too banged up on defense, and I don't think their running game is going to do anything against the number one rush defense. I think the Eagles win 34-12.
Fly, Eagles, fly, despite the Bears picking up their new kicker in Santos. I'm going to have to pick the Eagles, 31-14, best team in the league.
Can't sleep on those kickers. All right, moving on to our 4 o'clock games. We have Saints at Rams in what's going to turn out to be possibly one of the best matchups of the week.
One of the best matchups of the week and probably the toughest to call. The Rams had a tough outing in Minnesota. They couldn't really move the ball, and that's going to make me question taking them here. So I have to go with the Saints. I'll take the Saints 29 to the Rams 24.
I agree. I think the Saints are going to win, although I got to say this is one of the toughest decisions of the week. I think the Saints are just a more complete team than the Rams are. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball, and they've been playing good defense. I think that continues this week, and the Saints win a close one, 35-32.
Okay, this is kind of a toss-up for me, but I trust the Rams D a little bit more. Plus, you got Todd Gurley back there. I'm going to toss it up, like I said, 46-45. I got the Rams.
All right, I don't think you go wrong with either one of those teams this week. Moving on, we have Seahawks at 49ers.
Well, Seahawks had a tough outing at home. They can move the ball with really relatively no issue. I'll take the Seahawks here in San Fran, 40-20.
This one to me is a free throw. I think the Seahawks get the job done, and they are going to get back their playoff hopes back on track here in San Francisco. I think the Seahawks win big, 31-10.
Well, you guys, it's a quarterback-driven league. Seahawks got a quarterback. Niners, no quarterback. With that being said, I'm going to have to go Seahawks over the Niners, 33-7.
And in our next 4 o'clock game, we have Jaguars at Cardinals.
Got the Jags here, taking out the Cardinals nice and clean, 17-3. That Jags defense is just too good. They proved it last week against the Browns when their offense couldn't get it going. And defense does win you games, especially the number one ranked defense, Jaguars here.
I'm going to have to go Jaguars here. I think the Cardinals just gave up 31 points to Tom Savage and the Texans, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Jaguars find just enough offense to get it done, 21-17.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before I even say anything, I'm going to go ahead and say Jags make the playoffs. Cards going nowhere quick. Jaguars take the win 24-0.
Interesting shutout prediction. That's what I'm talking about. Moving on, we have Broncos at Raiders.
The Broncos versus the Raiders. Tough one to call, but I'm going to take the Raiders here in what I would call an upset, just because they have a quarterback and the Broncos don't. I'll take the Raiders here, 22 to the Broncos, 16.
This is a battle for an easier schedule next year. in that division. I think the Raiders are going to get the win here simply because the Broncos, I think, have given up by offering to start Paxton Lynch this week. I think the Raiders win 17-10.
I was leaning toward the Broncos in this game, but again, we're starting a rookie quarterback over there, so I'm gonna have to go Raiders. Raiders, just because I gotta pick a team. 17-7.
Somebody's got to win, right?
Right.
All right. Moving on to Sunday night, we have Packers at Steelers.
It's the Pack Nasties, the Cheeseheads, the green and yellow versus the Steel Curtain, the black and yellow. I'm going to take the Steelers here in the biggest route, the second biggest route, I should say. Hundley showed last week signs of weakness, like big weaknesses, and the Steelers look like they're going to get that offense flowing again, nice and clean. Look for Antonio Brown and Bell to have big days against this weak Packers defense. 44-12.
I think last week the Steelers kind of reminded everyone why the class of the AFC and why that they're still the top dog. I think the Steelers are going to lay the wood to the Packers and win this one 44-10.
You know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I gotta go with the Steelers over the Packers. Packers don't got that bad man Aaron Rodgers to lean on, so I'm going to take Steelers over Packers 35-14.
All right, in our Monday night game to close things out, we have Texans at Ravens.
Probably the worst Monday night game of the season, if you don't count that Miami Dolphins one. But things could get a little interesting here. Savage is starting to find his receivers, and Fluco is doing the exact opposite. Their defense won that game for them against the Packers. But unfortunately, I will be taking the Texans here, marching on down to Baltimore and taking out the Ravens clean, 21-14.
I think the Ravens defense this week is going to remind everyone just how terrible Tom Savage is and how much the Texans missed Deshaun Watson. Look for their defense to score at least one touchdown. I think the Ravens win this one 23-22.
It's going to be a battle of defenses. I like the Ravens defense a lot more than the Texans defense. But they find a way to get it done sometimes. With that being said, Woodhead's a big addition back to the squad, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and say Ravens over Texans, 3-10.
Low scoring. Very good. Very good, guys. Well, that wraps us up for this edition of NFL Pick-Ums with Fireteam Base. Good old week number 12. 5 weeks left in the season.
Hey, I'm going to make it rain. Make it rain.
Yeah, easy there. Make it rain with L's.
Rain and L's, baby.
Yeah.
Ben Frank money. Ben Frank money.
All right, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all of our future content, including unboxings, game reviews, and more.
And let us know down in the comments which one of us you think is going to win and who you have this week for your NFL picks.
And once again, like to throw out a shout out money for being a guest on the show, buddy. Thanks.
No problem.
Absolutely,
Make
thank
sure
you.
you guys get your turkey in this Thursday.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. I forgot.
For
Keep
sure,
thinking
for
it's
sure.
come up so quick. Keep forgetting that Thanksgiving is this Thursday.
Before we know it, it's about to be 2018. But let's slow it down a little bit.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. For Fireteam Base, I'm Reap.
This is Bees. Bees out.
Keep reaping, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.